What's going on, everybody? Howdy, howdy. I've got the doing a little bit of welding today, and I figured I would take a minute or two and do a little tip on welding, because I know there's a lot of do-it-yourselfs out there that will learn how to weld, and I'm gonna show you a piece of equipment that I use around the shop. That's it's a real simple welder. I've got a lot more complicated versions that you have to set dials and all this, but this is just a go-to thing because you can just jump in and use it real quick. So let me flip the camera over. Okay, there it sits. This is a cheap little Hobart. Little bitty old thing. It doesn't have much of a duty cycle, but I'm only welding up small pipe, and it's real simple. You can pick one of these up. There's a little newer version out now, but they're only like, well, at the time you can get these things for like $350, and it's just a nice little knock around welder to keep at the shop. It's a wire feed, meaning that the wire feeds out the end of it, and it sets the speed and the heat automatically with the preset dials. And I'm using flux core wire because I have to use this thing out in the yard sometimes. I don't like dragging a big old acetylene tank around, but we got stuff that does that, but this is just for what we're doing here. And this is just a pipe that I'm welding up here. Let's see if I can get this thing to come into focus. Come on, camera. I don't understand why my camera's not focusing. However, all right, I think we're starting to get there. There we are. So, when I'm welding, I'm going to use, I can't touch it because it's hot, but I'm hitting it with the tip there. I kind of want to go in a U shape. And when it comes to welding on when something's a vertical weld, you want to typically weld from the top down. And the reason for that is because heat rises. If you start welding from the bottom up, then your metal's going to heat as it comes up, and you can actually start to burn through the weld. So to prevent that from happening, when you're on a vertical weld, you want to weld from the top down, like I say, because heat will rise, it dissipate through the weld, and your metal below it doesn't quite get as heat soaked as the metal above it as you're doing the weld. And somebody had cut this converter off in a parking lot for this guy, or not for the guy, but the guy parked it where it was at in a safe place, and then that's what come out. And I had to work around this clamp right here because they cut it off real short to that. But yeah, welding tip, when you're just doing that, you'll learn when you use a welder with an auto set, you'll learn when it's too hot, when it burns through. But when you're welding vertical, just try to weld from the top down. It makes a big difference. Alrighty, well, I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Have a good day. Thank you for tuning in the We'll Fix It team. Yeah, good stuff.